Good evening, Toastmasters, young guests. What do human beings do? I'm doing it now. Speaking. Speech. The word. This is something we're good at. We use it. It's the highest level of communication, words. And communication, as we'll see later, is going on all the time, all around us. Richard Attenborough called us, I believe, the compulsive communicators. Whether we're effective communicators matters rather more. We have the gift of the gab, I think. And part of my purpose of being here is to improve my skills in that direction. Okay. Do you remember the Bee Gees? They had a song, a line in which said, "It's only words, but words are all I have to take you away." Now, not true. Look at our own expressions we use. We speak of his silence, her absence, their look, speaking volumes, but not a single word has been uttered. So we speak in other ways than verbally. We see it happening all the time around us, don't we? Let's have some examples. The other day, I was walking behind a mother with a small child. A small child said, "Mum, when will it be Christmas again?" And Mum soothingly patted the child on the head and said, "Quite a while yet, darling." Thinking, in the sort of speech bubble, thank God that's over for another year. We've all been there, I'm sure. And my nephew, whose wife is about to deliver their first child, so to make me Bulgaria, the great uncle in the Wombles, for remembers. And I remember when he was little, when my sister and husband were back in this country from Canada, my mum and dad, my late dad, my mum and dad, who, well, his grandparents used to look after him, and he was into things like experiments. He'd mix things up from the bathroom cabinets and the kitchen, creating a spectacular explosion at one point. But that's the sort of thing he liked doing. He wasn't into the normal mundane things. So when they were going out for the day, my mum would say to him, "Do you need to go to the small room?" And he'd say, "No, Nan, no, Nan, go on, don't." Round and round in small circles, squeezing his backside together so tightly that the sweat was breaking out on his forehead. His mouth was saying, "No, I don't want to go, Nan," but his body was saying just the opposite. So there we are, there's this tension between what we're saying, how we feel. Am I nervous? No, of course I'm not nervous, of course I'm not nervous, no. And another example, body language. Not a word was spoken in this incident, but you didn't have to be in mind to see what's going on. The lady who lived in the basement flat under me had a rather stormy relationship, shall we say, slamming doors and so on, with her then partner. And they went on holiday to a final attempt to get themselves together, make or break, quite literally. And break was the option that happened. When they got out of the taxi from the airport, you could have cut the atmosphere with a knife. It was that intense. They went into the house by separate ways. They didn't speak to each other, and it was no surprise that they broke up. But at that moment, not a word was said. But you didn't have to understand English. A foreigner would have come and said, "Well, they're not a happy couple." So we're communicating all the time with our bodies, our voice tone, and so on. So if I say to you, "I'm not nervous, am I? I'm not nervous. No, what's me nervous? I'm not angry. What's it? And you see, what I'm saying is out of kilter with how I'm behaving. You see, communication is partly verbal, but it's also partly comes through our bodies. Because although we're very clever, we've got the highest, most developed brains in the mammalian tree, we're still at one with the animal kingdom. This is obvious. Think of small children, their pets. They understand each other, don't they? And one of the downsides of growing up, I think, is that we lose this instinctive communication. We tend to regard feeling as inferior to logic and reason and so on. But I think we have to be very careful. The messenger, if the message isn't good, suffers the proverbial fate or prospective fate of being shot. But it need go as far as that. If I try to put across a point and I'm looking out the window, yes Peter, I'm paying attention to you. Yes, and also, what are you doing over there? Why are you going there? And so on. You see, I'm detracting from the message because my body language detracts, it splits from what I'm saying. So, the body speaks. Be careful what it's saying. It may be saying things you're not aware it's saying. So, work on your body language. Make sure that what you're saying isn't contradicted to what you're doing. No, I'm not nervous. I'm not angry.